Welcome to Meet Me Where I Am, the podcast where we examine what we believe, how we think, and why that matters. Each week, we break down a common logical fallacy, explore how it shows up in real life, and use street epistemology to ask better questions, not to win debates, but to build understanding. Whether you're a curious skeptic, a lifelong learner, or someone who just wants to have better conversations, you're in the right place. Let's learn ways to have those difficult conversations and build better relationships. Thank you for listening to Meet Me Where I Am. Admittedly, we recorded this a few weeks ago prior to our vacation, and, well, we're just getting around to posting it now, but this is about the Strawman Fallacy. Please enjoy.
The Strawman Fallacy. That's our fallacy of the day. This is where someone misrepresents or simplifies or distorts, confuses, misdirects an opponent's argument to make it easier to attack, like the weaker straw man. And then they'll proceed to attack what they said, not what the other person said, and refute that, making it look like the original argument has already been defeated.
Okay, so an oversimplification of
misrepresentation,
oversimplification and misrepresentation. Got it. Yes.
Exaggeration. Understood. There's a lot of different words
with the hope of slaying the straw man instead of dealing with the actual issue. Correct.
I think it's just with the way some people argue, and I think sometimes it's deliberate, and I think sometimes they're just trying to put their own bias on it.
Right.
And I think sometimes they don't really know what they're doing.
They've never probably even been told that that's what that is, but like I've definitely. Can you give us some examples?
First
to help.
Of all, one of the ways that I'm going to try to remember this is that if I make a claim, that I'm going to see that as my man, okay? So this is my belief, this is my man standing there. And when somebody else it comes in and they say in different terms or oversimplifying or distorted it, that they basically brought their own straw man has entered the chat. Okay. And that because it's easier to knock that over being a straw man, than
it's not a real man. It's a straw man.
It's a straw man.
Right.
Okay. For example, we should, somebody says, for instance, we should reduce our carbon footprint by using more sustainable energy sources.
Totally reasonable. Yeah.
And somebody else comes back and says, so we should just live like cavemen and give up modern conveniences? That's silly.
I agree. That is ridiculous and silly.
We should use more sustainable energy does not equal that
being
we're
cavemen.
All modern conveniences, right? Yeah. It's not saying that. I don't like
those do not equate. So why are you comparing them?
Right.
Whatever, bro.
Realize politicians and the media use this a lot.
A lot. We all know this.
One way to recognize this is especially when you hear the words, so what you're saying is, and then they say something that's not even close to what you said.
Which can, that can, you're like, is that what you heard?
So let's say, for instance, I think we should spend less on the military and more on education. And so the responders
said, straw man.
So you just want to leave our country defenseless?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. What about if I say I want Medicare for all?
So I think we should have Medicare for all. I could say, so you just want free stuff. Right?
That's not it. That's not what that is.
No.
Oversimplification.
I didn't say that. A single payer system, we're still paying into it.
Right.
It's just not, we could just cut out the middleman.
Got it. So it's just, got it. So it's a problem because then it just, it steers the conversation into, well, now I got to explain. No, of course I don't think we should live like cavemen. Of course not. But like, it's not totally unreasonable to say that I want, to have sustainable energy, right? Like, it's not completely unreasonable. So got it. So so you have to acknowledge it.
In some cases, the things that they say are illogical completely. Like, so you just want to leave the country defenseless. That's illogical. That's not even
no one thinks
said.
that. No one thinks that.
I would think we should spend more on education and a little less on defense. Doesn't mean I want to take all the money away. So here's some more, because I really think that the one way you can combat this, the best way, is to recognize it.
Yeah.
I don't agree with what you're saying there. So are you calling me a liar? Wait, what? That's not what I said. I just said I don't agree with what you said. Because I read an article that said, what you just said wasn't true. And they're like, oh, so you're an expert now, huh? What's your degree in? So now they have taken your original claim, and we're not even talking about that anymore. They just flipped it again to where, like, now you're not even a credible source.
If that's the conversation that you're having, walk away.
That might be a good time.
If that is how the conversation's going, then it might be time to walk away.
Right. Here's a couple more. I think all women should have their own personal choice when it comes to their bodies. Oh, so you support the murder of babies?
Yeah, no, that's not the same thing. Okay.
So here's one that's super simple and kind of silly, and I don't know if this would ever actually happen, but it kind of really brings home.
This is maybe a conversation that toddlers would have. Okay, go.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, so I really love this banana.
Oh, yeah. Well, so what if you don't like apples? I don't know. I said it wrong. I did it wrong. You do it.
Let's try it again. You're just supposed to say, so you hate apples?
Oh, so, okay.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Go.
So, something a toddler would say. I love this banana. Bananas are so good.
Oh, so you hate apples? No.
So
good role play. And scene. And scene.
See, that would be totally like you have to give it to the toddler. They did not do that on purpose. They were just like
no, like they were feeling it for apples that day and wanted other people to know. Okay, that's what that was. And I think honestly that might just be what some people they have a lot of feels and they don't know how to express them.
Right. Well, my point with that specific example is just to show how completely ridiculous it can be.
Completely absurd it can be. Yeah.
Let's give a couple more examples and then we'll talk about how we can guard against
Fight
against it. Yeah. Okay. So let's say somebody is making an argument and they say, so premise one for them would be beer advertisements encourage underage drinking. And underage drinking often has negative consequences. So I think ads for beers probably shouldn't be on TV. They should be banned from TV. And then a straw man person would come along and say, people are never going to give up drinking beer. You see what I'm saying? Like,
you're like,
that's
not what we're talking about, bro.
Everybody needs to quit drinking beer.
You're like, no one said anything about the entirety of population stopping the drinking of beer. Okay, no one said that.
So here's
pay attention.
A different way this can happen is not in an argument, but somebody actually making a claim. So let's say they say, okay, the theory of evolution says humans are no different than apes. And then they say humans are different because we are smarter. And so their conclusion would be, so hence the theory of evolution is false. Now, what they have done was they have misinterpreted and misunderstood what evolution actually says. They don't say, evolution doesn't say that we are no different than apes.
I mean, who is this evolution person anyway?
Yeah, right?
Like,
so this is a case when somebody is just coming out and claiming this thing, but it's a straw man because what they're saying is evolution says this thing that evolution doesn't say.
Evolution has not entered the chat.
They did not. So while the structure of their argument is a valid structure,
it seems valid.
It's falsely characterized.
Right.
They said evolution says something evolution does not say.
Right. Okay. So it could just be someone getting their facts wrong too, but like in a straw man way. No?
Yeah, it can be that. Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Right. Where they're misrepresenting the thing because, they want to knock it down.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's
the whole point.
Evolution says this when evolution didn't say that.
It's an oversimplification with the intent to destroy the straw man.
So my next one.
Sorry.
Is so. Basically, what you want to do is expose that fallacious argument, expose the frame of thinking that's illogical or irrational, okay? Or if you don't, then people are going to say that you're running away from the argument, from the question, right?
Right. You have to address it.
Basically, being able to recognize what a straw man is and to be aware and then point it out. It's really the only way. You can't really... you can only combat this thing. You can't really prevent it from happening. Yeah. So what you want to do is you want to try not to become too defensive because it can go around in circles if you start, getting too defensive. Right. And if you need to, what you want to do is say like, that's not what I said. What I said was this, and then just restate what your claim. Mm-hmm. And then you could also ask them, what is it that I actually said? Like make them repeat your words back to you. So they're kind of making that mental connection because maybe they just, jumped to this conclusion.
Yeah, they filled in the blanks. They weren't totally listening to you. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can just... But whenever you're doing these things with them, you just want to state it. Like, you don't want to be like, what do you think I said? You want to say like, well, what was it? That can you repeat?
What did you think? Yeah. What did I say?
What was it that I actually said? Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to keep your tone,
try to keep an even level. Tone. Yeah. Level.
You want to kind of try to keep your wits about you and not get too emotional about
truthfully, that goes without saying in all of these conversations. If you right. find yourself at any point getting too emotional, too anxious or too whatever, back out. It's okay. Like, try again later. It's okay. Like, you did your best. And that's it. Like, move on. You can try again another day.
And I think that is the final thing is that if you're not getting anywhere and they just continue to strawman you or use other logical fallacies, then probably the best thing to do is say, I really don't think that we're accomplishing anything right now. So maybe we could just pick this up in another time. And walk away.
Or if you have those people that you continuously have that same argument that always ends up the same sort of way, a really productive way of addressing it would be, I would really like to be able to talk to you about these things. And I would like to be able to talk to you in a rational manner and not get too emotional. Is that something that, logical adults can do? I don't mean it in a sarcastic way. Like, I mean, like, is that something that reasonable adults should be able to do? I think that if you have a friend or a family member and you really want to hear their opinions about things and they're going to be difficult conversations, then absolutely you should go through the list of agreements for civil conversation and make sure that you're checking those boxes too. Make sure that you're doing those things too. So,
yes. So good.
Cool.
Do you understand the strawman fallacy now? And do you think that you are going to be able to recognize it when you hear other people doing it or other people doing it to you?
I think so. I think that the easier way to recognize it is like you said. So what you're saying is you hate killing babies. Like, no, that's not what I said at all. But also it seems like any rational person, any person who's coming into this conversation with the viewpoint of trying to understand is going to be like, that's not what I said. Like, I actually said this and you misunderstood me or you misheard me, or I don't know.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. It's definitely restating your point and saying, like, I don't know what you think I said.
Yeah. Straw man. Not to be confused with strong man.
Okay.
Which is a different tactic entirely, but not one that is a logical fallacy necessarily.
Right. Okay. Strong man. I don't know if I've ever heard that one before, but yeah. That sounds interesting. We'll have to talk about that.
We'll have to talk about that. Find us on social media at Meet Me Where I Am on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also email us at meetmewhereiampod@gmail.com. If you do leave a review, please don't be anonymous. We'd love to hear what you have to say so we can meet you where you are. Hey, it's been a few weeks, right? Like, we've been gone. We took a couple of weeks off. I took a vacation with my husband, and then the second week, you and me and my sister and we all drove down to Georgia to visit my brother, right? My older brother Nick and his family. And it was super fun. And then we stopped on the way back in Pigeon Forge and stayed there for a few days and did a bunch of touristy type things. So it was super fun and refreshing. And we had lots of family time and lots of time to think about what we wanted to talk in our podcast about. So here we are. And I think that one of the big takeaways is, as parents, we don't have all the answers, and acknowledging that is a big step in your parenting journey. So I haven't always been of that mindset. Yeah, I haven't always, I haven't always acknowledged that I don't know the answers, especially as a parent, because as a parent, you're the reality for your child. You've got to be able to work through your confusion and your angst about parenting. So the reason I bring that up is because there's been not a recent thing. I think it's only been recently reframed as this, but Kylie Kelsey, the wife of Super Bowl champion Jason Kelsey, back in May, mentioned on her podcast that they subscribe to the parenting style of F around and find out. And when you say that as a parenting style, my immediate first reaction is, wow, that's an interesting strategy. Tell me more. So let me just explain the F around and find out philosophy as it goes with parenting. So it means that when your child, after you've given them instructions and you've set a boundary for them, if they continue to push past the boundary that you've already clearly outlined, then that's the find out part, right? Like, you've already warned them what would happen if they didn't follow your instructions, and now they're going to find out what happens, right? Okay. So it's strange that it's being framed as this F around and find out when it's more just allowing your children to make mistakes and learning from their mistakes, and also natural consequences.
All right.
So it comes as a response to the gentle parenting that were really popular when I was first becoming a mother. Everyone was all about gentle parenting, explaining everything, and getting down on their level and all that jazz. And all of that is very good, and all of that is very useful, I will say. But some people don't think that that's not the parenting style that they want to adopt. So
I have a question.
mm-hmm.
I literally watched one video about this to kind of get an idea. And the one I saw basically said, FAFO parenting versus gentle parenting. And my question is that a false equivalent? Are they like that? Like they're not polar opposites,
I
right?
agree. I actually don't think
Are
that
they?
they're
Okay.
they're not too dissimilar. It's
So,
just reframing it for this edgy,
yeah.
group of parents, honestly.
Yeah.
Because that's what
Basically.
it is. So I was listening to a podcast years ago, and it was the Smartless podcast, and it was Bob Odenkirk was on it, who was in Breaking Bad, and he real famous from Second City. He was also on Better Call Saul.
Okay.
He said, and this is totally the F around and find out philosophy. Is he said that, and he said that this was his parenting style, was allowing his children to do dangerous things carefully.
Mm.
And like essentially, like that's part of what the F around and find out thing is. It's so it says something about like if your children aren't able to make their own mistakes, then they won't have confidence. And I can understand that to a point. But it's saying that it's equating gentle parenting with always allowing your children to have a safety net. So like guarding them from anything that could happen to them. And that's where the equivalence is not accurate. Like that's where it's like, no, that's not what gentle parenting is.
Right. It's
That's you not understanding.
So it's not a rejection of gentle parenting.
No, I don't really think that
you can do both.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
It's so examples of what it is. It is like I said, just natural consequences. It's your kid didn't want to wear a jacket to school. They're going to be cold on their walk to school. Or if they don't want to eat dinner. And you know that I've always been a big proponent of like, we're not short order cooks. We're making one meal in this house. And we've always been that way. Apparently that is in the F around and find out parenting style. The if they don't want to eat their food, then they come to you later saying that they're hungry. That you can say kitchen's closed, my dude. But I've totally said kitchen's closed. Sorry, like we only make one meal.
Right. Well, the leftover lasagna is in the fridge. You want to heat it up yourself? Go ahead.
Exactly.
But we had for dinner tonight is what you can have now.
Yes. Right. What F around and find out is not is letting your kid touch the hot stove so they can learn their lesson. No, that's negligence. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not.
I have one. That happened when Nick was, I don't know, it was before Nathan was born, I think, or right after he was born.
So my older brother.
He would ride his bicycle without shoes or with flip-flops. And I told him, you don't want to do that. You want to have shoes on. That pedal can get messed up in your toes, blah, blah, blah. You know, all these things.
Not safe to ride without shoes.
He wouldn't listen to me. And he was riding his bike once and he fell against the curb. And he scratched like pretty bad the top of his foot. Like he had a pretty good cut, you know. And so after that, he always wore shoes.
So he literally found out what you meant by, totally. So that was, you set a boundary.
I did.
You told him
you need to wear shoes.
The consequence. Yes. You told him the consequences of it. Yes.
Yeah. He was 7 or 8 years old. Yep.
So
I guess he was around 7.
So that is a natural consequence of not following your directions. Exactly. Another thing that it is not is ignoring your children when they're clearly overwhelmed or dysregulated. F around and find out does not mean figure it out yourself.
Oh, right.
It does not mean, and it also isn't punishing them out of spite. You're not hiding their shoes because they annoyed you. You're letting a natural consequence unfold, not creating one to prove a point. It also clearly says this F around and find out is not being emotionally cold because, to be fair, it sounds cold. It says what's so funny about the F around and find out is just that the whole idea of being a parent being a parent is literally F around and find out, because you effed around and now you have to figure out how to raise this small being that is following you around, calling you mom.
Right. Unless you had to do that a lot as a kid, watch your siblings or something.
Sure. Yeah. Totally.
We were all too close together. Like it really, I was 4 when my youngest brother was born. So I never really had that kind of experience with, I mean, they're not going to let a 4-year-old be the baby and change a diaper and stuff.
Right. No, exactly. So one thing that I thought was really great was that it's not the sink or swim strategy either that everyone always like the older generation likes to tout, like
you either sink or swim.
Exactly. Yeah. It's that idea that as soon as they removed corporal punishment from schools or stopped, mandating that sort of thing, kids got soft and
disrespectful and mean.
So disrespectful. Right. Like, no, if your kids are being disrespectful to you, it's not the kid's fault. It's really, it's kind of on you. You did that. You need to re-examine what you've been doing in your life that has caused them to act in this way. And most likely it's going to be you looking at yourself. Because I think that parenting is about trying to figure it out and trying not to pass on our trauma to the next generation, right? Like not wanting to pass our trauma on.
So this is kind of funny because a lot of people, one of the things that I always say is a lot of people, when something happens, they go, "Oh, kids these days, they're so disrespectful." Blah, blah,
blah. So they always jump to the youth being the problem.
Jump on something like this, thinking that it's going to make your kids tougher and they're going to be better and more respectful and everything. But the thing about it is that people have been saying that forever. Like Socrates
they've been saying that forever.
Oh, kids these days, and like, I mean, this
every single generation complains about the things that we had to deal with that they won't, and the things that that they'll never understand. They'll just never understand. Yeah, true. But we could also be reminded that they have an experience of their own and a journey of their own that they are on, and allowing that, or like acknowledging their journey is not negating ours. Acknowledging their reality, because like that's the big thing. As like I thought it was a cop out. I immediately I said it sounds like a cop out. It sounds like you don't want to be a parent. It's cold, it's punitive. I mean, but then this article goes on to say, like, you do obviously still care. It's not about being cold. It says basically, if gentle parenting is about collaboration, F around and find out is about clarity. You set the boundary, you hold it, and when your kid inevitably tests it, they find out.
Right.
So yeah. So essentially, again, I don't think it's a new thing. It's not a new thing. And it's also just a reframing of what has already existed for centuries, which is the allowing your children to have natural consequences when they disobey, or when they just natural consequences. That's what it is.
Do your homework. No, I don't want to. Get a 0 on your paper. Okay.
Yeah, like F around and find out is reminding them to take their backpack to school, but they didn't take it. You're not going to drive it over to them today. They're going to miss out on show and tell for today because they forgot their backpack. Or if they don't want to put on their shoes to go outside, fine. They'll stand in the doorway without their shoes on, staring at their friends as they play. Right. That sort of thing. Like it's setting a boundary and then living to it. But like that's what parenting is. Parenting 101 is, giving your children room to grow, allowing them the opportunity to spread their wings and make their own mistakes, but to be there to explain and not explain, but be there to guide them through it. You know what I mean? Like my kids are respectful, but they know when they aren't being treated fairly, So like, it's okay to acknowledge that. It's okay to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
I do this crazy thing where I acknowledge their feelings.
Oh
Isn't
yeah,
that isn't that
I think
wild?
your kids are very respectful and polite and kind and considerate, and I think that there's the teaching them that, and there's also the doing that. Like they're learning both ways,
Yeah.
because you're being compassionate and kind and trying to meet them where they are, and not just tell them what they need to do or think. And so they're learning how to be compassionate and kind and respectful because they
Yes.
are
Yes.
being treated that way. And so I
Right.
think that's really important. And that I think even with the kind of parenting, the FAFO parenting, you can still have that gentle parenting as well. It doesn't
Exactly.
mean that you're abandoning all of that. It just, I guess, to me, it just sounds like the reason people are really talking about it now is because of the terminology. If you just said mess around and find out, nobody would care.
Exactly. Oh, totally. Yeah. They're going for the maximum, response.
Clickbait. Yeah.
Clickbait for sure.
Yeah. Let's make
So,
it sound as edgy as possible.
yeah,
But it's really
exactly.
not. It's really not. It's not like you're going to allow your child to do something dangerous.
Right. That's not what it
Yeah.
is. Like as a, I mean, I would say, I'm not a gentle parenting advocate. It's not that I was like reading all these books about gentle parenting. I was just reading all of the books, about parenting. And like, I just responded to that one. It made the most sense to me, I guess. But like, I wouldn't say that I was a gentle parent growing up. I was doing my best. We were all just doing our best. But I think
I
like
don't
our
know. I
goal,
think I noticed a marked difference when Andy was young and you read The Happiest Toddler on the Block. Is that what it is
right? When
called?
he became a toddler, yes. You know what?
Handle, yeah.
Parenting is about like, oh, I don't know how to deal with this. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to look
Right.
this up and figure this out. So,
Right.
yeah, I
Because
did. I
see,
found a
that's
book.
a lot of things that people don't really think about is that the chances are, like with therapy, for instance, oh well, I just am where I am, and but they're therapists, people who have written parenting books, like The Happiest Toddler on the Block. They have tried these things that have worked for them,
Yeah,
and like with therapy, well, try this thing, this tax, this list making, whatever it is, that these
right.
things have worked for other people and you just don't know about it.
You don't know
And
what you don't
you
know.
can go looking for these things like reading a book, like you
Yeah.
don't have to do it all by yourself
I'm the
too.
type of person that like when I see something that isn't working, I'm like, how do I make this better? How can I make this more efficient? How can I change this so that it works better? And when I discovered is that like I did not know how to parent my young children, my young tiny children who were so emotionally irregulated. Like, I could they were I didn't know what I didn't know. It's like that it's like when you own a home and when you first move in, you don't know what size the air filter is. You need to
Hmm.
learn the different parts of your home so that you can maintain it.
Hmm.
It's like that with your children. You have to learn their filter type, and you have to learn what temperature they run the best at. And if you think yes, if you think about one parent or one set of parents with one child, like it's an only child situation, that kid
Hmm.
is getting a vastly different experience as a
Hmm.
parent than the kid who has siblings. Okay. They're getting a different parenting experience altogether. And
Together.
that's okay. But what I want to explain though is that like, and you get it because you've had 4 kids. I have
Hmm.
3 kids. People with multiple kids just we have a different it's a different understanding. When you have multiple kids, you can't parent them all in the same way.
Oh
And
yeah.
I know that might like seem obvious You can
people
have
do try to do that, but then
you
they
can
find
have
out
the
that
same
doesn't
the
necessarily
same
work.
boundaries. Like you can have the same boundaries. You can set the same guidelines for each child, but it's not. You're not going to enforce it the same way, or you're not going to treat them the same way as your other children, because you don't treat all of your kids the same, and you don't.
You don't, but it has to look like you do.
You have to fake.
Otherwise, the kids are going, "That's not fair. You didn't do that for me."
That's just it, though. It's when someone is always keeping track, it's always going to seem unfair.
Oh yeah.
When someone's keeping track, it's always going to seem unfair.
I think because sometimes it's just different, and that's just the way it is. It's not about
Better or
doing
worse.
the same for you. If you needed that, I would have done that for you, but you didn't. But they did, So
Right.
I get it. It's tough.
It's really tough.
So, that's another thing is that when people talk about kids these days, in a lot of these instances, they'll discuss things like the kids are soft and disrespectful. It's because of the soft parenting.
Right. It's because the participation trophies. Yeah. That sort of thing.
Oh my God, you got a
right.
participation trophy. You expect everything now.
You expect something every time. That's not what it's about.
Win the big trophy, so you got this little tiny thing that says thanks for trying. And now you're just going to be expecting everything to be handed to you on a silver platter.
And I can promise you that's not what I expect. That's not what I expect. As one of the children of the participation trophy era, I can happily report that no, that's not what we expect. To be given something.
So you're going to try this FAFO parenting now?
No, I guess I kind of already am. I didn't even realize. But we just got back from this big family vacation, and Nick and Deb have 3 kids. They have a 10-year-old and then 2 6-year-old twins. And they walk in, and the kids just disappear, running off and playing with the cousins, right? And and Nick and Deb didn't seem to know what to do with themselves. Like they were like, oh no, we don't need to tend to their every beck and call when they're here. It was so strange. It was so funny. And like I'm used to that.
Right.
I like my kids are a little bit older than theirs, but like I'm used to walking in to a place with a bunch of kids and just saying goodbye to my children, and they'll come to me when they need something.
Right. Yeah.
But they're always on. And when you're always on, you're going to burn yourself out.
They're going to have some time, though. I think the kids started school last week, so yeah. And I think they have all-day kindergarten, so
cool.
Yep, it's going to be their first time. They're going to be like, oh no, what do we do now? Yeah. It's not the emptiness, but it's the beginning of the emptiness thing, and
right. Yeah, it's a new phase in their life. That's honestly what it is. Because like I look back at the other
weekends and Nick works from home, so it's really going to be noticeable.
It's going to be a new era for them.
New thing.
Because we went through that as well. Like when we were in the baby bubble, when the kids were really small, and like you're only focused on the things that are happening within your small 40-foot radius in your house. Everything else is just secondary. Like everything else. But yeah, this is going to be a new fun phase for them, and I hope that they embrace it. They're going to find out. They're going to F around and find out. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for meeting me where I am.
You're welcome.